Okay, it's Sunday again, and once more, game lined up. It's size almost completely painted ogre army against my Orcs and Goblins, who are hopefully going to be my next project after the vampire counts are finished. A few new additions. So take my foot off the gas with the army composition, and take sound a bit more fun. It's obviously the nature of Orcs and Goblins. Don't expect to win with them anyway, so I might as well give myself an excuse for losing. So we're playing a battle line mission. It's 2,400 points, because obviously the size army. In terms of the friendly tournament we're going to go to at the end of the month. So
next week.
Yeah, next week. So so mines are on 2,400 points. Like I say, it's a friendly tournament, so we're just like not taking all the crazy stuff that we normally take, which has been nice actually. That's why Son's only got. I say that. Son's only got one iron and blaster. Ordinarily, that would be quite a concession for most people, but that's actually an advantage to Si because it's freed up 170 points.
It's 170 less points that I hand straight over to my opponent.
Right, so the Orcs and Goblins, I have 5 Wolf Riders, Giant, I've got 50 Night Goblins with nets, a Doom Diver, another Giant, aptly called Gork and Mork, or possibly Mork. The Giant's actually standing there, it's just this hill that is obnoxious, and I just can't stand anything on it. It's lucky to balance the dice on it, to be honest. We have 28 big uns with Savage Orc War Boss, a Troll, 28 Black Orcs with Orc BSB, a Chariot, 5 more Wolf Riders, and a Doom Diver. Basically, I was running through my old 2,400 point list with Orcs and Goblins through the Swedish comp because, you know, I find it quite interesting. And it was a 6, so I thought that's quite a relatively powerful army. So I wanted to shave off some points and just try and make it a more friendly army. So I ditched a load of stuff, then reduced it from 6 to 13.3. So yeah, so it certainly sounds more friendly. And yeah, just want to use these giants as well because got them cheap off of eBay, and I don't know, if I was like the look of them, I don't think they're worth much cop in the game, particularly not against monstrous infantry, but I'm going to give it a go. So yeah, so that's my army. Hand over to Si, see what he's got.
Right, my force, I have a Saber-Tusk, I have 10 Noblar Trappers, actually Noblars this time, I got my arse finger and assembled them. I have an Iron Blaster, I have 8 Ogre Bulls with the Slaughtermaster in the centre. I have a almost painted Stonehorn. The rider has a Bolt Thrower. Then I have a unit of 12 Iron Guts, which are actually painted. And then the BSB is going to be there. Then I have 4 Mornfang Cavalry. I have 3 Lead Belchers, which are also painted, and another Saber-Tusk. So you can see that I've actually got my backsiding gear from last week, and have painted a reasonable amount of stuff. I painted the Lead Belchers, finished off the last 4 Iron Guts that I needed, and nearly all painted the Stonehorn. So I've got 6 days with which to paint 10 Noblars, an Iron Blaster, and my 2 characters. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, but I think I can get it done. Be a few more difficult nights, but I think that'll be that. But yeah, as for this is pretty much my tawny army. Well, it is my tournament army. So yeah, with that, Ollie won the dice off, and we'll see you at the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 1.
Okay, so I won the roll to go first, so I did. There was no animosity. I moved up, as you can see. that's pretty much it. And then in the magic phase, rolled a mighty 9. But because I only got the 1 level 4, the Night Goblin, doesn't really have any spells, so I did cast a Gorkle Fix It on the Mournfang, just in case something weird happened. Siloed it through, just didn't really make any difference. The other 2 spells which I had were, or the other 3 should I say, Sneaky Stabbing, Gift of the Spider God, and Curse of the Bad Moon. I decided not to bother with any of them actually. I was thinking about casting Curse of the Bad Moon, but it probably won't reach them, and there's so many things that can go wrong for so little reward. I just didn't bother. So I gave that a miss. Then I skipped straight to the shooting, and I fired both the Doom Divers at the Iron Blaster, doing 1 wound to it, although they both did hit. It's just bloody tough, that thing. So yeah, so that was it. So it's the end of Orc and Goblin turn 1.
Right, it's the end of quite a crappy turn. Basically
the standard staples happened.
Yeah, the 2 worst things. My general blew himself up, although thankfully he didn't die this time. I managed to roll yet another. I don't even care what it's called now. I just didn't die. But yeah, then the cannon turned itself into a chariot again on the first turn. And yeah, everyone else just moved up. So other than putting a wound on the chariot and scaring the goblins away with the brain gobbler that I miscast, that was about it. So it was a pretty terrible turn. So yeah, I can see that my next week's tournament is going to be pretty terrible, because all what will happen is I'll just have ridiculous luck and romp home, but
yeah,
I very much doubt it.
Because you're not playing me, you'll just beat everyone anyway. It's just the random things around.
It was like when I played John, didn't I? And I went off and just absolutely minced him.
Yeah,
never rolled like this.
Sam as well.
Yeah. So well, we'll see. But yeah, that was.
And this is why I feel confident taking 2 random giants, because I know they won't die. Not to spoon you anyway.
So that was a pretty terrible.
Of course, if they try those nobblers, they're going to get owned. But,
so yeah, it's now time for Orcs and Goblins turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 2, and in an effort to beat Si's already bad turn, I chose to have my own. Not chose. Okay, so I started with Animosity. It was all going quite well. So the Goblins decided to have a bit of insane bravado, and they decided to go and bottle the Noblos. Yeah. So, and unfortunately, they made the charge as well. So it's about a ridiculous amount of dangerous terrain tests, and lost like 11 goblins. Yeah, so that wasn't very good. The giant was charging the Noblos anyway. He made it in. The chariot failed. He attempted to charge the lead belchers, and quite high. These goblins actually made their charge with the saber tusk to their doom. And that's pretty much it. Then in the magic phase, I got loads of dice, but I was squandered them because I attempted to cast Gift of the Spider God on these guys, so I dispelled it. And then I attempted to cast Gorkle Fix It on these guys, and rolled 1 on my mushroom, so that didn't go off. Didn't take a wound, but it didn't go off. Then in the shooting phase, my Doom Diver blew himself up, which was nice. I was firing at the Mournfang. And the other one, let's fire at the Mournfang. Thankfully, this guy here, which may not sound important, until he rolled a misfire as well, rolled 5, then it goes in a direct straight line towards the Mournfang, which luckily, because it was that one, it hit the piece of terrain first and not the giant. So, yeah. So that wasn't very good. Then we went into close combat. And the Noblas slaughtered 3 Night Goblins, which was unheard of. And then thankfully the giant rolled something. It was stuff into his bag, so he picked up one of the Noblas and stuffed it down his trousers, which was nice. Nice for him anyway. And then yeah, so that wasn't so good. So the giant killed 1 Noblar. Then the Night Goblins killed 1 or 2. And then the giant, In fact, I don't think they killed any. And then the giant decided he had enough of them. He was a bit bored. He wanted to go home and enjoy his new friend. That's obviously where the groin bite rank comes from the Noblar hierarchy. So if you get picked up by a giant, he takes you home. But yeah, he got bored of them and thunderstomped them and killed 5 more. So they fled, and then fled through the Iron Blaster. Iron Blaster didn't care because they're just Noblars. But then the Night Goblins run straight into the Iron Blaster. The giant's just milling around there. So yeah, it's not the greatest of the time, but it's certainly in the spirit of Orcs and Goblins in the stupidness that happened. So doesn't really bode well, like losing your artillery, eating bad mushrooms, goblins getting slaughtered by booby traps laid by other goblins, and giant is more interested in creature comforts than fighting. So, literally creature comforts. So that's the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 2. Not a bad turn. In what I managed to do, I managed to flank the goblins and send them packing. I wasn't quite able to catch them, unfortunately, but they have kind of scarpered. So in theory, they shouldn't be coming back. Then everyone else moved up, other than the Mornfang, who made quite a long bomb charge into the Black Orcs and chopped up like. It was 13 guys, so I did quite a nice load of damage. I rolled pretty poorly, unfortunately, for my impact hits and my breath weapon. I was hoping to kind of kill a few more guys. Unfortunately, I kind of didn't have enough. I really didn't do enough damage to stop me from taking a large number of wounds. I only did 16 wounds. I saved 5 of them. He did 17 wounds, and I saved 5 of them, and that was just enough to wipe out the entire unit completely. So had I managed one more save, that would have been 11 wounds, and I think I probably would have won the combat. Not by much, but I would have had enough. Would have had a stomp and then a chance to send them packing, but. Yeah, unfortunately it wasn't to be, but I've kind of wrecked up that unit a fair bit now, so I actually kind of need to do a little bit more to wipe them out, and I've still got the savages to deal with as well. So with that, it's the magic phase was kind of a bit useless. Everything was pretty much out of range, and then my first spell, I think I rolled 2 1s and a 2, and miserably failed to cast everything, so that was it. With that, it's now time for Orcs and Goblins turn 3.
Okay, so it's the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 3, and so I declared a charge with my giant into the Iron Blaster. Declared a charge of this giant into the flank of the bulls, so I elected to hold, which I failed it. These guys reformed after that combat, I just forgot to do it, and he just moved the other side, and they pretty much stayed where they were, so they could have reformed in my movement anyway. The troll passed his stupidity and just moved up to redirect these, just get them in the face. These guys passed animosity, that's good enough. Chariot charged into lead belchers, and this combat just carried on. So that was it. And then in the magic phase, got some spells off, got Gift of the Spider God on these guys. Something to do. Gork fix it on the bulls. He dispelled Sneaky Stabbing, and I didn't bother with Curse of the Bad Moon. And then in the shooting phase, my Doom Diver fired at his Stonehorn, and believe it or not, missed it. In spectacular fashion, even with the deviation thing. So yeah, that was a shame. Then in close combat, these guys failed again. So Tusk did nothing. I failed my fear test and did nothing. Chariot killed a lead belcher, but then died. Like I say, he failed his charge, so he's in no man's land. And in this combat, went alright. I charged in. obviously had a flank. Rolled thump with club, which is exactly what I wanted, and then side passed his initiative test. So I did nothing. Then in return, he did nothing to me. So it was a draw. Sorry, I won by 2 because I was flanking the charge, and then he passed his leadership 5 test. So that was really annoying. Actually, it was better than that because he was extreme on there.
I'll see if I can reform.
Yeah, can do. Yeah.
Reform. So it's 6 or less. Nope.
Oh! You had 2 6s, surely that's double success.
Double reform!
Yeah, so, yeah, in a comedy of errors, it just gets worse. So, I'll hand you over to size turn 3. Former saber task.
Right, it's the end of Ogre's turn 3, and I charged the combat here with my balls. I charged his redirecting dude there with the iron guts. I charged his other giant with the stone horn. Moved these guys up. And moved this guy forward. Just move them around 4 inches. Then what else happened? Magic phase. Managed to get spine marrow off. Then miscast. Oh, I miscast spine marrow. To a strength 6 hit, which wounded. And then with the remaining dice, I tried to cast Bull Gorger on these guys, but I dispelled it. Then in the charges, over here, the pillow fight ended when he put the pillow down and actually used his claws. Managed to kill 3 Goblin Wolf Riders. He didn't kill any. Failed his test and then fled straight into that, where he rolled a 1 and took a wound and died. So he just reformed. Moved these guys up, trying to snipe his general. Well, he's not his general. Sorry, his shaman. Unfortunately, I could only see he needed 7s, so missed. Over here, because I had the flaming banner, the impact hits were enough to butcher the troll, so they reformed. Then over here, the impact hits, I got 7 hits, 6 wounds, which killed him outright, and he overrun, but not quite enough to avoid a flank charge. Then over here, impact hits, put 2 wounds on that. Then my Slaughtermaster attacked and whiffed. And then Ollie was lucky enough to roll.
Well, don't forget the highlight. You did 2 wounds to it by rolling 2 6s. Then had to re-roll.
Oh yes, because the Gork will fix it.
And roll 2 6s.
And then roll 2 6s again. Yeah. So, but thankfully for Ollie, he rolled Yell and Ball, which ended the combat. So we took the tests, and they're all.
So I rolled snake eyes for everything.
Yeah, basically. So with that, not a bad situation. So it's now time for Orcs and Goblins turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 4, and trying to claw it back now. So I declared to charge my savages into the flank of the Stonehorn. The Black Orcs moved back. Goblin just milled around, and that was it. Then in the magic phase, I cast Gift of the Spider God on the savages, and Gork fixed it on these guys, which I failed to dispel. Then I actually cast a Curse of the Bad Moon onto these guys, only the little one, and I rolled strength, and actually killed one of them because it made it into the unit. So it's actually on there at the moment. So that was it for that. So it's pretty good. Quite happy with that. Then in the shooting phase, my Doom Diver woke up, killed the Saber Tusk, which was excellent. Then in close combat, nothing really happened over here. My giant was fighting this combat, so I managed to do another wound to him, or another 2 wounds to him, so only 2 left, and it was his go. Well, same time as his general. My giant rolled thump with club again, chose his general. His general failed his initiative test, and then I did him 8 wounds and killed him. So that was excellent. And then unfortunately, all the ogres just ate him, so that wasn't so good. But yeah, I killed his general, so can't complain. So the giant's done pretty well actually. He's been causing chaos on that flank, so I'm very happy with him. The other one disappointed me greatly, but the Stonehorn's just nasty. But when he gets flanked with Savage Orc big uns, my general actually has the armour of Gork, so it has impact hits, and also have the big stabber. So between that and all the attacks from the savages, I brutalised him and overrun 6. Sorry, not 6, 9. So I'm out of the charge arc of these horrible iron guts. So yeah, it's gone pretty well. It's definitely down to the wire now. Looks, I don't know, Si's got his big gut bust still. And my Black Orcs don't fancy them. And these guys are out of position now, so they're going to have to fight this lot instead. So yeah, it's anyone's game. As we move into size turn 4, yeah.
Okay, it's the end of Ogre's turn. What turn was that? Is it 4?
4, yeah.
Turn 4. Yeah, with the situation as it happens, due to my quite unlucky overrun and losing my Stonehorn. Basically, I don't want anything of those Savage Orcs without a nice juicy dual charge or a flank I would have settled for, but he overran out of the way. So yeah, I was getting out of there basically. Everyone moved. I tried to charge here and rolled double 1 like a absolute sucker, and just moved everyone else out of the way. So yeah, really a pretty well, obviously no magic because the general's dead. So yeah, pretty useless phase all along. So yeah, it's now turn for Orcs turn 5.
Okay, so it's the end of Orcs turn 5. So I elected not to charge. I reformed the Savage Orcs, moved them up here. Move the Black Orcs up, reasoning if I charge this turn, they'll just get slaughtered and that would be horrendous. So I didn't want him to have 2 rounds of combat, and maybe I'll be steadfast. And then I can flank him with the Savages, which is obviously quite an obvious thing. So Si's obviously going to fall for it because he's an ogre, so I'll be fine. Right? I'll be fine. So that was that. The magic phase, I managed to get off Gift of the Spider God and Gork will fix it on these guys. I attempted to cast a big Curse of the Bad Moon, but actually failed to cast it. And then the shooting phase, my Doom Diver failed to kill his Saber Tusk. And that was it. So it's the end of Orcs turn 5.
Well, it's the end of Ogre's turn 5. With Ollie getting a nice magic phase and casting Gork Fix It on them, I decided that yeah, pretty much I didn't want any of the action. So yeah, basically I'm getting out of there. So yeah, they moved away. They moved up and around. They reformed, moved forward. Let's just moved out of the way, moved up. So really, just trying to get out of anything I possibly can. So yeah, with that, it was a pretty short turn. So it's now time for Orcs turn 6.
Okay, it's the end of an epic Orcs and Goblins turn 6. So, the Iron Guts were in my arc, but I reasoned that if I did charge them, we'd have an equal amount of attacks on each other, then he'd have stomps as well. That's in his back, so I didn't really fancy that. Plus then I'd have to fight him in his turn as well, and I'd just end up losing the Black Orcs. So it's shown to have a bit of a cagey end to the game, but it's pretty close, so I can understand why Si would do, like run off. So I decided to score some easy points. Well, that's what I thought would be easy points. So I declared a charge with my Black Orcs into the Noblars, along with him, just to get him out of the way of the Savages, so the Savages could charge the Lead Belchers. So he elected to hold with all of them. And then I failed more charges than you could shake a stick at. So I failed with these, then failed with him, thankfully, otherwise he would have got eaten by Noblars. And then of course they couldn't actually complete their charge. So that shut down my magic phase as well. So I went straight to the shooting phase. And with my Doom Diver, I decided to go for the big win and try and score his Noblars. And I slaughtered them to the bed. Oh God! So that's 50 points to me. Nice. Yeah, so feeling pretty good. I'd like to see how Si's going to come back from that. As we head into Ogres turn 6.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 6. I charged the Doom Diver, chopped it up, only just. Then they edged slightly sideways. Shot, unfortunately, only managed to get 2 wounds on him, and Ollie made his look out, sir. And then that was it, really. Everyone else had just sort of shifted away, not wanting any more part of the action. And with that, it's left the pair of us to add up our victory points.
Okay, so it's the end of the game. We totaled up the points. I can't remember what it said now. So I got 986 points. And I got, was it
1,156.
1,156. So, yeah, it was a pretty damn close game. We were just like running through it. You know, what we thought kind of won it for me. And I think really what it came down to was my giant smushing his general, which was the highlight of the game for me. So it was just beautiful.
Well, that was like 475 of your victory points.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it was almost an afterthought hitting that general. You could almost see the giant sort of dithering, and then suddenly deciding to just whack the general, he might win the game. And that's exactly what happened. So yeah, so highlight of the game for me was that giant smushing the general, which was what I needed. So yeah, really fun game. It's a shame we didn't have a combat at the end, but there's absolutely no reason in the world why someone would want to fight both those units. It would just be suicide, so I can understand that. And because it was so close, you know, it's fair enough. Yeah, so I'm really happy with the list. I mean, you know, I'm going to tweak it and that. But it's fun to play a kind of less serious list. And I mean, I know I've still got a horde of Black Orcs, but as I was saying aside, they die so quickly, you kind of need that many just to survive around a combat. Savages are pretty nasty even in that form, you know. It's kind of, well, I still love the hordes of Savage Orcs, but I want to go for kind of a less of a cliche. I've got no Shrunken Head, I've got no level 4 Savage Orc Shaman. You know, so I just got the War Boss with the big uns. And it gave me a good chance to take the Big Stabber, because one of the things I read in the book is that Big Stabber, you can't take it unless you have X amount of ranks. It's like 2 ranks or something. And then it stops working or something, I don't know. But I find this unit really nice if you can get a flank with it, because it just does so much damage. You've got the impact hits from the Big Stabber, the impact hits from the Armour of Gork. The War Boss himself has like 5 strength 8 attacks from the first hand of combat. You know, it's just nasty. Especially if I can get sneaky stabbing off on it, it's just game over. So they can do wonders. And it's easier to manoeuvre it as well. So I quite like that. Obviously the Night Goblins screwed me and themselves by failing that animosity, but that's bound to happen. It's just a shame those Noblars were so close. But yeah, I think really for me the fun part was the giants. I mean, obviously one of them got slaughtered. Probably wasn't the greatest idea holding against that Stonehorn, but like I said, the reason that if he held and just survived, then I'd be stubborn and I could pin him in place. But luckily he didn't overrun very far anyway, so I could still flank him.
Well, yeah, that arguably that set you up for probably the best part of the win, because
yeah, 250 points is not to be sneezed at, really, isn't it?
Well, that's it. And if I'd managed to get around your side, I would have been able. I think I would have been able to chaff up your Black Orcs and be able to turn pretty much almost the full force of my army on the Savages, and sort of get around to that, which was kind of what I had planned. But losing the Stonehorn and then my general soon after, that was enough that it
yeah, that's quite a big swing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that blunted my attack quite sizably.
Yeah, so the Savage Orcs did demolish that Stonehorn. I was initially going to charge them into the Iron Guts, but it was such a long charge. And then obviously the Stonehorn, like I said, 250 points, like saying, you know, do you want me or not? So I took that. So my biggest concern through the whole game was that if he'd made that charge on the Black Orcs, he would have destroyed them easily. And, that would have been a swing. I mean, it's like 400 points there, plus the BSB, so it's over 500 points. So if he'd made that charge, that would have been horrendous. So, but like I say, it was a comedy of errors. We failed so much between us that it actually became quite a balanced game.
Yeah, we didn't. I don't think either of us felt particularly bad for failing, because the other one was failing so hard equally that it was sort of it was honours even, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only really particularly lucky thing I got was with the Black Orcs, who hit like crazy against those Mournfang. But like I said, he was never expecting them to survive anyway, just expecting to do a bit more damage than that. So he could whittle them down enough to send his Iron Guts in, so that's fair enough. But yeah, no, it was a really fun game. I certainly liked playing this list. I'm certainly going to take the two giants again.
Mork and Mindy.
Yeah, Mork and Mindy. Was Gork and Mork, but it's Mork and Mindy now. Yeah, so not really sure what else to say. Pretty much everything that normally dies died again. Like I say, I kind of based the list on a list I normally took with 2,400 with the Orcs, just with all my favourite stuff. It's not only my favourite stuff, it's stuff I'm trying to work on getting painted, so I don't want to paint it and then decide that I don't want it in the list anymore. So I'm trying to focus on the same base units, which are obviously the Savages, the Black Orcs and the Night Goblins. So I'm just trying to make a fun list based around them. Also got the regular Orcs. I'd really like to use regular Orcs, but they just don't do anything. Well, in theory they don't. I mean, I should try them really. And because I got the Savages, I was more inclined to make them the big uns than the regular Orcs, so I don't know about them. But yeah, I'm liking the Giants. I don't really rate them. I've never rated them before, but they are so much fun just to roll on there and see what happens. And every now and again you get really lucky, and as I did. It's a shame that his Iron Blaster initially passed his initiative test, because I was going to thump the club that. But because he passed that and I managed to yell and ball on the next turn, so survive, is how I managed to kill his general. So it's actually got, what was it, like 370 points instead of 170. So yeah, and that giant really held them up. So yeah, so the man of the match for me is obviously my giant. The other one, not so much. But yeah, really fun game. Hand you over to Si, see what he thought of the game.
Yeah, well, that was a very fun game. It was quite interesting, like Ollie said. We had some terrible luck on both sides. But yeah, it was very even, just simply because of the fact that it was set a charge up, and if you get it, then it does well. And yeah, I kind of unfortunately couldn't set the charge I wanted up, or the two charges. I had one chance of locking the game down, which was to make a 13-inch charge against these guys with the unit. Pretty sure, well, I would have got mauled, but I'm pretty sure I would have been able to sort of finish off them pretty well. I mean, he would have had 12 attacks plus his BSB versus my, there would have been quite a lot of attacks there, like 24, 25 attacks. Yeah, plus stomps and impact hits. So, yeah, I think I could have got the better of the unit and sent them packing, and that would have been great. But unfortunately, that was when I chose to roll Snake Eyes, and I was a bit buggered. So after that, and with Ollie casting Gork will fix it, so I had another chance at a charge, because obviously if I'd charged, then overrun a bit, I could have chosen to sort of flee. And managed to hopefully escape their clutches, maybe chaff them up with the Noblars. But yeah, it was sort of I was unable to get in there, and I missed my chance, so I had to kind of play for the possible win or draw. I thought it'd be close, and in the end, it was pretty damn close. I mean, it was literally there was 70 points in it initially, until I remembered that he gets 100 points for stoving me general's head in. So yeah, with that, it was a bit of a shame for me, but that's how it was. Overrun with the with the stone horn cost me. I was hoping for more than 4 inches. That would have got me out of their charge arc. And then as long as he didn't fail a frenzy test, it would have allowed me to have reformed and managed to set up a flank and a frontal charge, which I think would have been pretty devastating for him. But yeah, there was kind of that, and then he managed to overrun quite nicely as well, which took him out of my charge arc of these guys, because then I would have charged the balls in the front to pin his general in place, charged the guts in the front and the side, and then I'm pretty sure I could have broken him. I probably would have lost the balls or had them reduced to next to nothing, but it would have in theory been enough to put his general away and his savages, and I could have won that way. So it was fairly close, and like we said, if he passed a charge his way, then he probably could have put them down as well. So it kind of come down to really sort of who got the charges off, and unfortunately none of us got many charges off, and but Ollie just managed to edge me there. But yeah, other than that, that was very, very good fun. The list Ollie took is by no means an auto beat. There's got some really, really good stuff in there. The Giants are actually quite interesting because he paid 400 points for 2 Giants, but at the end of the day they killed 300. Well, they got 375 points for the general, and then plus 100 for the actual thing for killing the general. So they're actually up 75 points.
Yeah, plus the one that did die actually set up the Stonewall for you as well. So.
Yeah. So they didn't do too bad. So yeah, it was just a shame my cannon died on turn 1. Ceased to become particularly useful. It would have been nice to have cannoned one of those guys off.
Yeah, I say down with cannons, up with monsters.
Yes, it'd be much more fun. I'll start rocking 3 Stonehorns in 3,000 points. I'm tempted to get a Thunder Tusk at some point. I'll have to be scouring eBay, I think, for one of those bad boys.
That's a good idea.
So with that, next week we will go up to Warhammer World. So I dare say there'll be 1 or 2 vids from there with some different players if they don't mind us filming some stuff, and if we've got time. So yeah, with that we'll see you later.